Good morning. It's Saturday, October 22nd, and I want to talk a little bit about my history with the theater. When Times Square was the place to go, and when I was a teenager and we were hanging out in front of the candy store, which is what we did almost every evening, but on Friday nights, I don't know, about 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, we didn't have anything to do. We hop on a subway train and we go to Times Square. And that was the beginning of my history with Times Square. Now, in those days, all we did was catch a movie and have some spaghetti in some small restaurant on 42nd Street. And then we'd come home. It was 2, 3 in the morning by the time we got home. And then when Gertrude and I started going out, we worked in Manhattan, 3 blocks from each other. And every Wednesday evening or so we would meet and we'd go find a theater to go to. And we'd stop at TKTS and we would get the inexpensive seats if we could. And many times we would go off Broadway to 42nd Street and 9th Avenue and find a small theater there and go to the theater. And later on, when I was working, we didn't get to the theater much after we were married and we were raising our kids. We got to the theater, occasionally, not as often as we did when we were single. But when we moved out to Long Island, we supported all the local theaters out here. Theater in Port Jefferson, theater in Smithtown. Wherever there was a theater, we supported it. And when we were out east in Riverhead, we supported a couple of local theaters out there too. So we are really theater lovers for a long, long time. And it rubbed off on our daughter, who majored in theater in college, and then went on to the Yale Drama School for her master's degree. And now most of you know that she's a scenic design manager for CNN. So theater is in our blood, right? And after I retired, we used to go to the theater every Wednesday for the matinees. We used to get on the train in Deer Park and go down to Manhattan to see a show. Now we had a regular routine. We catch this 10:30 train into Manhattan. We get off the train, we walk down 9th Avenue to this little dingy hero shop and have a quick lunch of sorts, and then proceed down the street and find a theater that had something that we wanted to see, or we would take an adventure. We didn't know what was playing. We would find something to watch. Go to TKTS and stand online. And occasionally we even ran into a Broadway star at TK. So we had always had great times at the theater, no matter where the theater was. And if we were up in the mountains, we managed to find theaters there too. So let me tell you what's being proposed now for Times Square. They are proposing to put a casino in Times Square. And I am just trying to think what that will do to Times Square if you have a casino there. How will that affect the theaters? How will that affect the entire neighborhood? All right? So let me tell you what I think. Caesars Entertainment and the developer S.L. Green have announced a joint bid for a casino located in Times Square. And the proposed casino will be called Caesars Palace Times Square. Big deal. The bid faces competition from other real estate and other gambling giants. And I guess it should also face competition from the neighborhood. They probably don't want a casino in the area. I would bet they don't want it. It's crowded already. Do we want to put up a business like a casino, which will draw lots and lots of people into an already crowded space? I mean, I'm sure that most of these people will come by train, subway, somehow. They're not going to be driving into Times Square to spend all that time at the casino. Times Square is crowded, busy, an exciting place in my mind. And I don't think that a casino will do much to enhance the atmosphere around Times Square. It will bring into Times Square a lot of people who really have no business being there. And I say that in a sense that Times Square is, in my mind, the entertainment capital of the country in a lot of ways. It's always been a wonderful place. And it doesn't need more people there. It needs probably more space. But these guys have got the permit. And why? Why do they want to be there? Obviously, they want to be there because they'll catch people coming and going from the theaters. You can imagine, I don't know how late casinos stay open. And maybe that's the big factor. You could stay in a casino till 2, 3 in the morning or something like that. I do not know how they plan to handle the increased population. I don't know if casinos have a population limit, like a movie theater or like a regular theater. So if it's any kind of casino and they have gambling tables and poker rooms and all of that stuff, they're going to hit a large crowd. And don't forget, a lot of people are going to leave the casino unhappy. So how is that going to work out? And then let's deal with the possibilities of crime increasing in the area. Because now criminals know that there'll be people wandering around Times Square with a couple of bucks in their pocket as they're going to and from the casinos. So are we going to put additional burden on the already overburdened police force in New York? I don't think that would be a good idea. And I don't know if I want the casino to have armed guards watching out for the patrons. How would that be? I mean, that's a dangerous thing I think they're planning to do. There are plenty of other places where you could have a nice casino. Why don't you have a nice casino on 9th or 10th or 11th Avenue along the river in a place that's not already congested? If you had a casino on 42nd Street and 9th or 10th or 11th Avenue or even downtown 14th Street in that area, you'd be okay. You would be okay. But maybe the casino guys have the idea where the people are going to go to a show and then they're going to, at the end of the show, they're going to spend a couple hours in the casino, or they're going to come to the casino and spend a couple of hours before the show. And I know gamblers. My brother was a gambler. You get in a casino and you're on a hot streak, you're not leaving to go and see the show. You're going to stay in a casino and lose the rest of your money. I don't think it's a good idea to add a casino to the already crowded area of Times Square. So that's what I want to say. I'm not against casinos. I think people should be able to gamble if they want to. I think people need the help they need when they become Gamblers Anonymous, etc., etc. But I don't think Times Square is the place to allow them to put a casino. I love the theater, and I think this will be detrimental because the crowding might keep the theater goers away. So take care, have a great day, and I've said my 2 cents worth. Bye.